The planet Erythra was a quiet, pale blue world at the edge of the Vega sector. Its skies were streaked with soft orange and lavender light, and vast oceans glimmered under twin suns. Humans had only recently built a small research outpost there, a cluster of silver domes and communication towers, standing like beacons of curiosity against the planet's calm wilderness. Inside the main dome, Captain Leora Kane stood before a large window, her eyes fixed on the horizon. Leora had always loved looking at new worlds, but today she felt uneasy. The alien species her team had been studying, a small, gentle race of luminous beings called the Erythrans, were acting strangely. They moved in tight groups, making quiet hums that sounded almost like songs. Their glowing bodies flickered with fear. "Something is coming," whispered Dr. Emmerich Saye, the team's biologist, his voice trembling slightly. He pointed toward the sky, where faint streaks of light were moving faster than any known ship or asteroid. "I've never seen energy patterns like this." "It's been alive," Leora's brow furrowed. The universe was vast, and humans often assumed that if danger appeared, help would arrive. But today she felt the loneliness of space more sharply than ever. Their distress signal had already been sent to the United Planetary Council, a network of governments and organizations meant to protect colonies. Yet hours had passed with no reply. "We can't wait for help," Leora said. Her voice was firm, but inside she felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on her shoulders. "We have to protect the Erythrans ourselves." The small research crew began preparations. Energy shields hummed to life. Drones hovered at strategic points, and communication arrays scanned the skies. The Erythrans circled their home in patterns that seemed protective, almost as if they knew the danger was approaching. Leora knelt beside a group of the glowing beings and spoke softly. "Don't worry," she said. "We are here to help you, but no human aid was coming. Not yet." Far away, across light years of empty space, the distress signal reached an unlikely audience. The signal was not intercepted by the United Planetary Council, nor by alien civilizations known for their wisdom or strength. Instead, it triggered a response from Earth itself, the home humans had once left behind centuries ago. On a hidden, forgotten part of Earth, creatures once thought mythical or extinct stirred. Deep in oceans, giant whales rose, their voices carrying far beyond the limits of human hearing. In dense forests, massive wolves padded silently through the underbrush, their eyes glinting with awareness and intelligence. In high mountains, colossal bears lumbered toward paths they had not walked in centuries. And above the skies, great birds of prey with wings spanning tens of meters circled, sensing a call they had never ignored before. These were the monsters of Earth, but not monsters in the way humans had once imagined. They were ancient guardians, evolved in secret to protect life in all its forms. Their instincts told them that somewhere in the universe a plea had been made, and it demanded action. Somewhere in the universe, humans had cried for help. And the Earth answered. Back on Erythra, the research team noticed the first signs of something unusual. Waves rippled unnaturally across the oceans, forming patterns as if something massive moved beneath the surface. Birds circled in formations that seemed too coordinated to be natural. The team watched in awe as a giant shadow passed beneath the water near the alien settlement. "What is that?" whispered Dr. Saya, his voice barely audible. "I don't know," Leora replied, her hand resting on the console. "But whatever it is, it's coming to help." Minutes later, the shadows became shapes. A massive whale-like creature breached the ocean surface, its body glittering with patterns of bioluminescence. It sang a deep, resonant song that vibrated through the air, the ground, and even through the shields of the outpost. Leora felt a shiver of amazement. "It's enormous," Emmerich said, staring wide-eyed, and then more emerged. Wolves of incredible size, their fur glinting with silver under the suns, ran across the plains. Their eyes were intelligent, aware. They moved in a perfect pack formation, circling the alien settlement and the human outpost. Birds with wings like sails glided above, their cries echoing as if they were giving warnings and directions simultaneously. Leora realized something profound. Earth had sent its guardians. Not humans, not alien civilizations, but creatures who had lived on her home planet for millennia. The first contact was cautious. The creatures did not speak as humans did, but their intelligence shone through in other ways. The whales sang songs that seemed to communicate strategies. The wolves moved as if they understood exactly where danger could come. The birds scouted the skies, alerting both humans and aliens to approaching threats. The Erythrans were at first hesitant. They had never seen beings like this before, and their glowing bodies flickered in nervous patterns. But Leora knelt among them, her voice calm and steady. "They are here to protect you," she said. "I think they are friends." Slowly the alien species began to mirror the calm of the humans. Their hums became gentler, less erratic. The bond between the humans, the Erythrans, and the monsters of Earth was silent, but unmistakable. Leora felt hope for the first time since the signal had been sent. The odds were still against them. The cosmic predator approaching the planet was powerful and unknown. But now they were not alone. They had allies that embodied strength, wisdom, and an instinctive understanding of life itself. Night fell on Erythra, but under the twin suns, darkness was never complete. The monsters patrolled the settlement, moving with purpose and intelligence. The whales sang songs that reverberated across the water, forming a protective barrier of sound. The wolves circled the plains, their keen eyes scanning for danger. The birds remained in the skies, ready to dive at a moment's notice. Inside the outpost, the humans prepared for what was coming. They mapped out strategies, tested their equipment, and coordinated with the instincts of the monsters. Leora realized something important. Humans often believed that technology alone defined their strength. But today, she saw that courage, understanding, and the ability to work with others, even creatures beyond imagination, was what truly made them strong. She looked at her crew and said, "We may be far from home. We may not have armies or fleets, but we have each other, and now, we have the Guardians of Earth on our side. We will protect this planet. We will protect these beings, together." The crew nodded, their faces set with determination. They had come to Erythra as scientists, as explorers, but they were ready to become defenders. The universe was vast, full of unknown threats, but they had learned an important lesson. Help sometimes comes from where you least expect it, and bravery often means seeing allies in unexpected forms. As the twin suns dipped below the horizon, the first signs of the cosmic predator appeared in the skies, distant streaks of dark energy moving toward the planet. But Leora's heart was steadier than ever. "They are coming," she whispered, "and we will not face this alone." The monsters of Earth had answered humanity's call, and a new chapter of interstellar alliances and courage was about to begin. The universe was watching, and humans were ready to rise, not just with technology or weapons, but with heart, determination, and the unexpected guardians of their ancient home. The first night on Erythra was alive with strange sounds. The Erythrans glowed softly in clusters, their light flickering like small lanterns in the dark. The humans moved quietly among them, making sure every alien was calm and safe. Outside, the monsters of Earth patrolled silently. Leora Kane could hear the deep, resonant songs of the whales echoing across the oceans. She felt their power vibrate through the ground, reminding her that help had arrived from an entirely unexpected place. In the morning, the team gathered in the main dome to review what they had learned. The monsters had not just appeared randomly, they were organized, intelligent, and purposeful. "Look at this," Dr. Emmerich Saye said, pointing to a holographic map of the settlement and the surrounding lands. "The whales' sonar pulses cover the coast. The wolves have mapped every path on land. Even the birds are flying in patterns that mark zones of safety and potential danger. It's incredible." "They are coordinating," Leora nodded. "They are not here by accident. They understand the threat maybe better than we do." Suddenly, the ground trembled lightly. The team rushed to the observation deck and gasped. From the forests and mountains, enormous bear-like creatures were emerging. Their fur shimmered in the sunlight, their eyes sharp and intelligent. They moved slowly at first, then faster, forming a protective ring around the settlement. The Erythrans, though still cautious, began to move freely inside the ring. They no longer huddled in fear. One of the bears stepped forward, its head tilting slightly as if it was examining the humans. Leora felt no fear. Instead, she felt a strange trust. She took a deep breath and stepped closer. "We mean no harm," she said softly. "We are here to protect life. Can you help us?" The bear's eyes glimmered, and then it gave a low, rumbling sound. Though humans could not understand the language of these creatures, Leora felt a connection, as if the bear understood her words perfectly. It turned toward the plains, motioning with its massive head. Slowly, Leora realized, the monsters wanted to teach humans how to fight, not with weapons, but with strategy, instinct, and teamwork. Over the next hours, the humans began to observe the monster's movements and patterns. The whale's sonar pulses were not just for defense. They could detect energy fluctuations from far across the oceans, allowing the team to predict when the cosmic predator would approach. The wolves moved silently through forests and hills, scouting for signs of disturbance and even guiding the humans along safe paths. The birds acted as aerial lookouts, diving and circling in ways that indicated danger zones. "This is remarkable," Emmerich said. "They are teaching us how to read the environment in ways we never imagined." "We are learning from them," Leora nodded. "We need to respect them and follow their lead. If we work together, we might actually have a chance to protect the Erythrans." That evening, a strange light appeared in the sky. It was distant but unmistakably alive, a dark streak moving toward the planet with immense speed. Leora's stomach tightened. This was the first sign of the cosmic predator. The monsters responded immediately. Whales moved toward the coast, forming a shimmering barrier of sound. Wolves ran along the plains in precise patterns, preparing to intercept any threat on land. Bears stood guard near the settlement, their massive forms blocking every potential path. Birds circled high above, ready to warn at the first sign of attack. Leora watched in awe. Humans had called for help, expecting other humans or perhaps advanced alien civilizations. But instead, the Guardians of Earth had arrived. Their instincts, their intelligence, and their coordination outmatched anything human technology alone could do. The team spent the night preparing, learning to communicate with the monsters in small ways. Leora found that gestures and simple signals worked best. A hand raised meant hold position. A low whistle meant gather here. The Erythrans, though still hesitant, began to imitate these signals, glowing brighter when they followed the instructions correctly. "Look at this," Emmerich whispered. "They understand us. We can guide them without words, and they guide us in return." By the next morning, humans and monsters had created an unspoken system of cooperation. Leora walked among the wolves and bears, feeling the weight of their presence but also their trust. She realized something important. Humans were not the only intelligent beings capable of planning and protecting life, but humans could lead with empathy and understanding, and that made them special. Suddenly, a disturbance in the oceans caught their attention. A dark, swirling mass of energy approached from the horizon. Leora and her team held their breath. The cosmic predator was close. The monsters responded immediately. Whales sang in a low, rumbling song that traveled across the water, forming what looked like a barrier of vibrations. The waves themselves seemed to rise and shift in patterns, creating an invisible shield. Wolves ran in precise circles on the plain, signaling areas that were safe and unsafe. Bears positioned themselves strategically near the settlement, their massive bodies forming living walls. Birds dove and rose in rapid patterns, communicating the predator's movement to the team. Emmerich watched the display, eyes wide. "It's like they're alive in ways we never imagined. Their coordination is beyond instinct, it's strategy." Leora felt a surge of pride and hope. This is why humans called for help. Not because we are weak, but because we have the heart to protect life. And these creatures, they recognize that. They are here to fight alongside us. The humans began to prepare their equipment, but Leora emphasized that their role was to work with the monsters, not to act alone. She assigned small teams to support the whales by monitoring energy flows, to guide the wolves in mapping land paths, and to coordinate with the birds in the sky. Every human task relied on the monster's instincts, and every monster action relied on humans' guidance. "This is real teamwork," Leora said. "Not just between humans, but between species. If we succeed, it will show that courage and intelligence are not limited to one form of life." Hours passed. The dark mass grew larger on the horizon, pulsing with energy that made the air hum. The monsters remained calm, their confidence reassuring the humans. The Erythrans moved closer to the humans and monsters, sensing safety in their presence. Then, without warning, the cosmic predator appeared fully in the sky. It was enormous, a swirling mass of dark energy and shifting shapes. Leora felt her heart pound, but she steadied herself. She looked at the whales singing, the wolves running in circles, the bears standing firm, and the birds circling overhead. "They are ready," she said quietly, "and so are we." The team noticed something else. The monsters were not just defensive. They were communicating with each other in ways humans could barely understand. Whales' song synced with birds' cries. Wolves ran along the plains in patterns that echoed the whales' vibrations. Bears adjusted their positions to cover blind spots, and the erythrans glowed brighter in response, adding their own energy to the pattern. Emmerich turned to Leora. "This is incredible. The monsters are teaching us a new way to fight. Not with weapons, but with strategy, communication, and coordination." Leora smiled. "Exactly. Humans have technology, yes, but courage and teamwork, that is what makes us truly strong, and we're proving it right now, side by side with the Guardians of Earth." As the cosmic predator drew closer, the humans and monsters prepared for the first contact. Leora felt a mixture of fear and excitement. The universe was dangerous, but today they had allies unlike any other. Together, humans, monsters, and the erythrans would face the unknown. And in that moment, Leora realized something powerful. Even in the vast emptiness of space, even when other humans fail to respond, courage and empathy can summon allies from the most unexpected places. The first battle was about to begin. The skies over Erythra shimmered with strange colors as the cosmic predator approached. It was unlike anything Captain Leora Kane or her team had ever seen. A mass of shifting dark energy, twisting and pulsing, moved toward the planet, its presence creating small storms in the atmosphere. The twin suns cast a surreal glow over the oceans and plains, highlighting the silhouettes of the monsters that now stood as guardians of the settlement. Leora stood on the observation deck of the main dome, her heart racing but her mind clear. The whales were in the water, their bioluminescent patterns glowing brighter than ever. Wolves ran in careful circles on the plains, their silver fur gleaming under the sunlight. Bears, massive and immovable, had taken positions along strategic paths, and the great birds circled high above, scanning the approaching threat. The erythrans huddled close to the humans, their glowing bodies flickering with a mix of fear and trust. "We have to stay calm," Leora said firmly. "Panic won't help anyone. Remember, we are working with them, not against them. Follow their lead." Dr. Emmerich Sayin nodded, scanning the skies with his instruments. "The predator is intelligent. Its movement is deliberate, but it hasn't learned to coordinate like the monsters. That's our advantage." The cosmic predator surged closer, creating a low hum in the air, a vibration that made the ground beneath their feet tremble. The erythran's light flickered erratically, and Leora could feel their fear. She knelt among them, placing a hand gently on one of the smaller beings. "Stay close to us," she whispered. "We will protect you. We are not alone." The first contact happened suddenly. The predator sent out a wave of dark energy, rolling across the ocean like a storm, but the whales reacted immediately. They rose from the water in perfect unison, singing in a deep, resonant rhythm that rippled through the waves. The energy wave met the whale's song, and for a moment, it seemed as if the water itself was bending to their will. The attack weakened, unable to pass through the barrier of sound. Leora watched in awe. "It's working. Their songs. They're shielding the settlement." On land, the wolves moved with astonishing speed and coordination. They ran in complex patterns that marked safe zones and potential attack paths. They barked and howled in sequences that communicated with both humans and monsters. Leora quickly adapted, giving simple hand signals and whistles to direct the humans to positions where they could best support the monsters' efforts. "This is more than defense," Emmerich whispered. "They're teaching us to predict the predator's moves, to work together as a single team." The birds above added their own layer of defense. Their cries echoed across the plains and forests, carrying a subtle vibration that disrupted the predator's energy waves. They swooped and dived with precision, signaling to the humans where the attacks would strike next. Even the erythrans contributed, their glowing bodies emitting pulses that synchronized with the whales and birds, adding another layer of protective energy. Leora realized that this was not just a battle, it was a lesson in teamwork and unity. Humans had relied on technology and strategy, but the monsters had instincts and intelligence far beyond simple survival. The predator's attacks were powerful, but it had never faced such coordinated resistance. "Keep calm," Leora called to her team. "Follow the patterns. Trust the monsters. They know what to do." Hours passed in tense coordination. The predator's dark waves crashed against the whale's barriers, but each time the waves weakened, forcing the predator to retreat momentarily. On land, the wolves and bears managed to channel the predator's energy, redirecting it away from the settlement. The birds' aerial maneuvers allowed humans to anticipate the predator's next move, adjusting shields and safety zones accordingly. "It's amazing," Emmerich said, barely able to contain his excitement. "The monsters are not just fighting, they are teaching us how to fight. And we are learning. We are becoming a real team." Leora nodded. She felt a surge of pride, but she knew the predator would not give up easily. Its dark energy pulsed stronger, faster, and with more unpredictability. Suddenly, a new challenge appeared. The predator unleashed a concentrated beam of energy aimed directly at the settlement. The whales responded instantly, creating a dome of pulsating sound that absorbed the energy. The wolves and bears positioned themselves around the dome, strengthening the barrier with their presence. The birds circled above, signaling adjustments and maintaining awareness. But it wasn't enough. The predator's energy was immense. The dome flickered, threatening to collapse. Leora realized they needed a new approach. "Emmerich," she called, pointing to the whales. "Can we amplify their song with our technology? Combine it with the energy shields?" Emmerich's eyes lit up. "It might work. We can synchronize the frequencies. It will be risky, but it could hold the predator at bay." The humans quickly adjusted their equipment. Drones hovered near the whales, projecting harmonic pulses to strengthen the sonar barrier. Energy shields were calibrated to resonate with the whale's song. Slowly, the combined effect formed a stronger protective dome, holding back the predator's attack. The Erythrans, sensing the effort, pulsed their light in rhythm with the whales and humans. It was as if the entire settlement, humans, monsters, and aliens alike, were now a single living force. Leora felt her heart swell. This was the moment she had hoped for, the moment humans proved that courage, cooperation, and empathy could create strength beyond what any individual could achieve. The predator, realizing its energy waves were failing, shifted tactics. It split into smaller forms, moving rapidly across the ocean and plains. Each fragment threatened to bypass the monster's defenses, but the wolves and bears adapted immediately. Wolves raced to intercept the fragments on land, while bears adjusted their positions to block any path toward the settlement. Whales followed the fragments in the water, their songs echoing across miles to weaken the predator's forms. The birds high above tracked every movement, guiding humans to maintain safety zones. Leora and her team worked tirelessly, coordinating signals and maintaining the protective shields. Every decision mattered, every movement was crucial. They learned to read the monster's instincts, predicting where they would move and what they needed from the humans. Hours stretched into the longest day of their lives. The predator's attacks grew more intense, but so did the bond between humans and monsters. Leora realized something important. Humans often measured strength by technology and firepower, but true strength came from unity, understanding, and courage. Finally, the predator faltered. Its dark forms began to shrink and dissipate, unable to withstand the combined efforts of humans, monsters, and the Erythrans. The whale's songs, the wolves' coordinated movements, the bear's steadfast protection, and the bird's aerial strategies had overpowered the threat without a single destructive act beyond control and defense. The settlement was safe, for now. The Erythrans glowed brightly, moving freely among humans and monsters, expressing gratitude in their gentle, pulsing language. Leora walked among the survivors, her heart racing but steady. "We did it," she said softly. "Together, humans and monsters side by side. This is what it means to protect life." Emmerich smiled, exhausted but exhilarated. "We've learned so much. They've taught us strategy, cooperation, and patience. This changes everything." The whales' songs continued, echoing across the oceans, a reminder that the guardians of Earth were always watching, always ready. The wolves howled in unison, the bears roared softly, and the birds circled high above, keeping vigilant watch. Leora looked up at the sky. The predator was gone, but she knew it would return eventually. The universe was vast, full of challenges, but humanity had proven itself capable of courage, intelligence, and empathy. They had fought with allies far beyond what they had imagined, and in that moment, Leora understood the lesson that would guide them in the days to come. Even when help seems impossible, courage, unity, and a willingness to trust others can summon strength from the most unexpected places. The first battle had been won, but the war for Erythra, and for the survival of life across the stars, was only beginning. Leora smiled at her team, at the monsters, and at the glowing Erythrans. "We are not alone," she said, "and together we can face anything." The sky over Erythra was calm now, but the sense of vigilance remained. Captain Leora Kane and her team had survived the first encounter with the cosmic predator, thanks to the extraordinary monsters of Earth. The whales sang softly in the oceans, their glow reflecting in ripples across the water. Wolves prowled the plains, alert and ready, while bears patrolled the hillsides with steady, watchful eyes. Birds soared above, scanning every movement. The erythrans, glowing brighter than ever, now moved freely among their protectors. Leora walked along the edge of the settlement, watching the humans coordinate with the monsters. Each moment of calm was a chance to learn, understand, and prepare for the next challenge. She knelt beside a young erythran, its tiny form pulsing nervously. "You are safe," she said gently. "We will not let anything harm you." The erythran's light brightened slightly as if it understood. But Leora knew the real danger was still out there. The cosmic predator had retreated, but its dark energy had left a mark. Tiny disturbances appeared across the land and sea. Ripples of energy, strange atmospheric shifts, and unusual wildlife behavior. The predator was not gone. It was watching, waiting, learning. The monsters themselves seemed to sense this. The whales sang with increased focus, scanning the oceans and nearby planets for disturbances. Wolves moved in more complex patterns, checking every path and hill. Bears adjusted their positions continuously, as if anticipating the predator's next moves. Even the birds flew higher, their cries more urgent, signaling the humans to maintain full awareness. Emmerich Saye approached Leora, his brow furrowed. "I've been analyzing the predator's behavior. It's smart, it adapts. Our first victory bought us time, but the next encounter, it will be more dangerous." Leora nodded, feeling a mixture of concern and resolve. "Then we prepare. We train, we observe, and we trust our allies. Humans may have technology, but the monsters have instincts, and together we can face anything." The team spent the day working alongside the monsters, learning how to read their movements and signals. Simple gestures, hums, and vibrations carried complex meanings. Leora realized that humans could not rely solely on machines or weapons. They needed to understand and respect the creatures they fought with. Even as they trained, the cosmic predator made its presence known. A low rumble shook the settlement as small fragments of its energy moved across the plains. The monsters reacted instantly. Wolves ran toward the fragments, coordinating with humans who deployed small, non-harmful energy pulses to disrupt the predator's movement. Bears positioned themselves in key areas, ready to block any approach. Whales swam closer to the shore, their songs forming a protective barrier, while birds circled overhead, keeping humans informed of danger. Leora watched carefully, noting how humans and monsters had become a single living team. The predator's fragments were strong, but they were no match for this unity. She could see the courage in every creature, every human. Even the erythrans began to join in, adding their light pulses to strengthen the monster's defenses. "This is what it means to fight together," Leora said softly, "not with strength alone, but with understanding and trust." But as the day progressed, the predator launched a more direct attack. A massive surge of dark energy moved across the plains faster and stronger than before. The wolves and bears tried to intercept, but the energy was relentless. Leora realized that sacrifice would be necessary. One of the bears, the largest among the guardians, stepped forward. Its eyes met Leora's, filled with intelligence and purpose. Without hesitation, it moved directly into the path of the energy surge. The humans could do nothing but watch as the bear's massive form absorbed the energy, redirecting it away from the settlement. The attack dispersed, leaving the settlement unharmed, but the bear lay still afterward, exhausted and motionless. Leora felt a deep sadness, but also a profound respect. This was courage in its purest form, a creature giving everything to protect others. She knelt beside it, placing a hand on its fur. "Thank you," she whispered. "We will not forget this." The erythrans glowed brighter, their light pulsing in rhythm with the humans' emotions. Even the remaining monsters seemed to recognize the sacrifice, standing taller, moving with renewed determination. The loss of the bear brought an important lesson to the humans. Leora gathered her team and spoke quietly, her eyes serious. "We are strong, yes, but we are not invincible. Courage and intelligence are important, but so is understanding the cost of every action. The monsters teach us not just how to fight, but how to protect without losing ourselves. That is why they came. They trust our hearts as much as our minds." Emmerich nodded. "I understand. We are not just allies. We are part of a network now. Humans, monsters, and Erythrans working as one. Every sacrifice matters. Every choice counts. The team spent the next hours reinforcing strategies. Whales' sonar patterns were adjusted to cover more area. Wolves moved in overlapping patrols. Birds communicated faster and more clearly. Humans monitored everything, learning to anticipate both the predator and the monster's reactions. Leora realized that learning from sacrifice and understanding was as powerful as any shield or weapon. As night fell on Erythra, a sense of quiet determination settled over the settlement. The monsters continued their watch, and the humans worked closely with them, exchanging gestures, signals, and understanding. The Erythrans moved freely, their fear replaced by trust. The twin suns' glow cast long shadows, illuminating a world where life and courage stood together against the unknown. Then, a soft pulse of energy came from the predator. A warning, a test, or perhaps a signal of its next move. Leora studied it carefully. "It's learning," she said. "The predator adapts to what we do. But so do we, and we have allies unlike anything it has faced before." Emmerich looked at her. "You mean the monsters? The whales, wolves, bears, birds?" "Yes," Leora replied firmly. "They are not mindless beasts. They are ancient guardians, intelligent and brave, and they have chosen to stand with us. Humans have heart, creativity, and courage. That makes us worthy partners. Together we are stronger than anything this predator has ever faced." The Erythrans pulsed in agreement, a soft, glowing rhythm that seemed to echo Leora's words. The monsters responded as well. The whale's song deepened, the wolves' howls carried far, and the birds' cries sliced through the night. Even in darkness, the settlement was alive with courage and understanding. The following day brought preparations for the next encounter. Humans worked tirelessly to coordinate with the monsters, creating patterns of movement and signals that combined instinct and intelligence. Leora realized that every human action now had a deeper meaning, a responsibility to protect life, to honor the sacrifices of those who had already given everything. Small lessons emerged in unexpected ways. Wolves taught humans to anticipate movement. Whales taught them to sense energy flows. Bears taught them patience and timing, and birds taught them observation from new perspectives. Even the Erythrans contributed their light pulses, showing how cooperation transcended species. "This is more than survival," Emmerich said. "This is a lesson in living together, even across worlds," Leora smiled. "Exactly. Humans are capable of great things, yes. But true greatness comes when we respect life, when we learn from others, and when we act with courage and heart." By evening, the settlement was calm but alert. The predator's dark presence was not gone, and every creature, human and Erythran, knew it would return. But now they were ready, strengthened by understanding, sacrifice, and unity. Leora stood at the edge of the plains, looking at the remaining monsters. She placed a hand on a wolf's head, feeling its warmth and strength. "Thank you for trusting us," she said softly. "We will protect this world together." The wolf's eyes met hers, intelligent and calm. In that moment, Leora understood something profound. Human courage, empathy, and willingness to work with others made them worthy of allies beyond imagination. The monsters had come not for reward, but because humans had shown their heart. The stars began to glow faintly in the twin suns' light. Erythra was quiet but ready. The next encounter with the predator would come, and when it did, humans and monsters would face it as one. Every sacrifice, every lesson, every act of courage had led them to this point. And Leora knew, deep in her heart, that humanity's greatest strength was not technology, not weapons, but the ability to care, to unite, and to act with courage and understanding. The universe was vast, and challenges would continue. But on Erythra, for the first time, humans had learned what it truly meant to fight for life with allies from worlds both familiar and extraordinary. The first sacrifice had taught them, the first understanding had guided them, and the first victory had given them hope. Now they were ready for what came next. The twin suns of Erythra rose over the settlement, casting golden light across the plains, forests, and oceans. Captain Leora Kane stood on the observation deck of the main dome, her eyes scanning the horizon. The cosmic predator that had attacked them before had not yet returned, but its energy lingered, dark and watchful. Humans, Erythrans, and the monsters of Earth had spent the night preparing for the inevitable. "This is it," Leora said softly to her team. We've trained, we've learned, and we've worked together. Today we face the predator again. But this time, we will not just survive, we will show that courage, heart, and unity matter more than any dark power in the universe. The team nodded, determination shining on every face. Dr. Emmerich Saye adjusted his instruments, monitoring energy fluctuations from the predator's distant approach. It's coming faster than last time, he warned. We need to be ready. The Erythrans gathered near the humans, their glow steady and confident. They pulsed in patterns that mirrored the humans' movements, showing trust and understanding. The monsters moved as well, instinct and intelligence combined, forming protective formations across the land, sea, and sky. The first sign of the predator's approach came from the oceans, where the whales rose like living mountains. Their bioluminescent patterns glowed brighter than ever, casting ripples of light across the waves. The predator sent a massive surge of energy toward the coast, but the whales met it with a deep, resonant song. The humans augmented the effect with carefully timed energy shields, forming a dome of protection around the settlement. Leora's heart pounded. "This is it," she whispered. "We work together. Every movement matters. Trust each other." On the plains, wolves ran in precise patterns, anticipating the predator's moves. Bears adjusted their positions, blocking potential paths of destruction. Birds circled high above, diving at the exact moments needed to disrupt the predator's energy. Humans followed their guidance, positioning themselves strategically and coordinating with gestures and signals they had learned over days of preparation. It was not just a battle, it was a symphony of life. Every creature contributing its strengths in perfect harmony. The predator's energy surged again, splitting into multiple fragments. Each fragment moved with intelligence, trying to find a weakness in the defenses. But humans and monsters anticipated the attacks. Wolves intercepted fragments on land, guiding humans to redirect energy pulses. Bears shifted positions, blocking unexpected paths. Whales adjusted their songs to stabilize the ocean and atmosphere. Birds communicated with sharp cries, signaling humans where to strengthen shields. Even the Erythrans added their own light pulses, reinforcing the monster's defenses. Leora watched in awe as humans and creatures of every kind moved as one. Their coordination was flawless, a combination of instinct, intelligence, and courage. "This is incredible," Emmerich said, his voice filled with awe. "We are witnessing something beyond technology. This is life working together in harmony. We are strong because we trust each other, not because of weapons." Leora smiled. "Exactly. Humanity is not defined by our tools but by our heart, our courage, and our willingness to protect life. That is what makes us strong." The predator, realizing its attacks were failing, became more aggressive. Dark energy streaked across the skies and oceans, moving faster than before. But the humans and monsters were ready. They adjusted quickly, their movements fluid and coordinated. Leora noticed something extraordinary. The monsters were not just reacting, they were teaching the humans in real time, showing patterns, guiding strategies, and strengthening teamwork. "Follow the wolves," she called. "Synchronize with the whales. Use the birds to track fragments. We can do this!" Every human acted in unison with the creatures. Drones amplified the whales' songs, creating a resonating shield. Wolves led humans through safe zones on land. Bears held the lines, their strength unshakable. Birds communicated every detail from above. Even the Erythrans' pulses contributed energy to the overall defense. The predator's fragments crashed again and again, but each time, they met a response that was faster, smarter, and more coordinated than before. Hours passed, and the predator showed signs of strain. It pulsed angrily, its dark forms flickering as the combined strength of humans, monsters, and Erythrans blocked its attacks. Leora realized the final step was at hand. "We have to unite fully," she said. "Not just humans and monsters, but everything together. Everyone contribute everything you have." This is the moment. The whales sang in their deepest, most resonant voices, forming a dome of light and sound that stretched across the oceans. Wolves ran in tight formations, their paths weaving a protective pattern over the plains. Bears stood firm, anchoring the defense. Birds dove and rose, directing humans to precise locations. The Erythrans pulsed brightly, their glow adding energy to the barrier. Humans moved with purpose, coordinating every action to amplify the monster's instincts. It was a perfect union of heart, courage, and intelligence. The predator's final surge arrived, larger and faster than anything before. Dark energy fragments swirled like storms across the land and ocean. Leora felt the tension, the fear, but also the strength of unity. "Hold steady," she shouted. "We are together. We are stronger than this." The combined force of humans, monsters, and erythrans met the predator head-on. The whales' songs resonated through the fragments, destabilizing them. Wolves and bears guided the energy toward weak points, redirecting it safely. Birds' cries disrupted patterns, creating openings for humans to reinforce the barrier. The erythrans' pulses filled in gaps, shining light into dark energy. Humans coordinated with gestures, signals, and technology, creating a protective network that no single power could overcome. Slowly, the predator faltered. Its dark form shrank, flickered, and then began to dissipate into harmless energy, leaving the settlement untouched. Leora felt a wave of relief wash over her. They had done it. Together, the monsters of Earth remained in place, vigilant but calm. The whale's song softened. The wolves rested along the plains. Bears returned to watchful patrols, and birds soared gently above. The erythrans glowed brightly, expressing gratitude in soft pulses. Humans embraced, exhausted but triumphant. Leora walked among the monsters, kneeling beside a wolf. "Thank you," she whispered. "You trusted us. We have learned so much from you." Together we were stronger than fear itself. Emmerich joined her, eyes wide with awe. "We have learned the greatest lesson of all. Strength is not just technology or speed or power. True strength comes from courage, understanding, and working together with others. Humans, we are capable of greatness because we care." Leora nodded. "And we will continue to care across planets, across species, across the universe. This victory is just the beginning." In the days that followed, humans, monsters, and erythrans worked together to repair the land and oceans. Energy disturbances left by the predator were neutralized. The settlement grew safer, stronger, and more harmonious. Humans documented their experiences, creating a new understanding of cooperation between species and civilizations. The monsters of Earth remained on Erythra, guardians and teachers. Whales sang to maintain harmony in the oceans. Wolves guided humans in understanding land and movement. Bears patrolled and protected. Birds monitored from above, their eyes sharp and alert. The erythrans lived peacefully among them, glowing with life and trust. Leora stood once more on the observation deck. The twin suns reflected on the ocean, the plains, and the mountains. She looked at the humans and monsters working together and felt hope. "Humans may be small in the universe," she said softly, "but we are brave. We are compassionate, and we are capable of unity with all life. That is our greatest power." The story of Erythra became a legend among humans, monsters, and alien species alike. Humans had faced a cosmic threat and survived, not through weapons alone, but through heart, courage, and collaboration. They had learned to trust, understand, and fight alongside beings far greater and older than themselves. Leora and her team returned to Earth months later, carrying with them the knowledge that humanity was worthy of alliances beyond imagination. The monsters of Earth had taught them that true heroism came from protecting life, understanding others, and acting with courage and compassion. The universe was vast, full of unknown dangers and wonders. But humans had learned a vital truth. Even when help comes from the most unexpected places, courage, heart, and unity can overcome the greatest challenges. And somewhere, across the stars and oceans, the monsters of Earth watched and waited, ready to answer the call of life once again. Leora smiled at the twin suns' glow, feeling a deep sense of pride and purpose. Humanity had risen not by power alone, but by the strength of its heart. The stars sparkled, the oceans glimmered, and Erythra stood as a testament to what humans and allies could achieve together. The universe had been reminded, humans are not alone, and their courage can inspire greatness across worlds.